Have you ever had that moment? You've put in maybe hundreds of hours studying English. You feel like you know the grammar, the vocab. But then someone asks you something simple, and suddenly just brain fog. You completely freeze. All that knowledge you have just evaporates right when you need it.
Oh, absolutely. It's probably the single most common frustration for even quite advanced learners. And it feels terrible, doesn't it? So that's why we're doing this deep dive today. The sources we looked at are really clear on this point. Getting over that speaking fear, it's less about cramming more words and much more about sort of rewiring your approach, your psychology.
Okay, so that's our mission here today, really. We're looking at how you can actually swap that fear, that silence, for real confidence when you speak. We're framing this not just as a language gap, but more like a psychological habit we need to figure out how to break.
Exactly. And what I find fascinating is that the strategies aren't focused on linguistics theory, It's all practical psychology and immediate tactics. Things you can prepare. We're going to look at why the brain kind of short circuits under pressure and then explore these mental structures you can build to stop that freeze before it even starts, like a mental toolkit.
Okay, let's get right into it then. Let's unpack that root cause. Why does this happen? Why does your brain, which definitely holds the information, just hit the panic button and go blank right when you need to actually speak?
Well, it's pretty much a classic case of cognitive overload. Think about what's happening. When you're trying to respond in real time, especially not in your native language, your brain is juggling so much. It's trying to translate the idea, pick the right words, apply to grammar, check the tense, maybe worry about pronunciation, cultural nuances.
All at once.
All at the same time. It sounds exhausting just listing it.
Yeah, it really does.
And the sources suggest that this intense internal construction work, it just crashes the system sometimes. And what really fuels that crash, it seems to be this double whammy of fear. There's the obvious fear of making a mistake, but often even stronger is that fear of being judged by the other person because you made a mistake.
Ah, okay. So you spend all this time learning the rules, which are neat and predictable on paper.
Yeah.
But then real conversation is messy, it's fast, it's unpredictable, and that gap creates the pressure. So, okay, if we accept fear as part of the game, how do we actually shift our mindset around it?
This is absolutely critical. It's the big reframe. We have to actively internalize this idea. Mistakes aren't the enemy. They're not roadblocks to fluency. They are, in fact, the ticket to fluency. It's the cost of entry. Think about it. If you're not making any errors, you're probably not pushing yourself, you're not in that real-world connection zone where growth actually happens.
That changes everything, doesn't it? Mistakes aren't failure, they're just evidence you're trying.
Yeah.
Evidence of taking a necessary risk. Okay, but let's get practical. If this fear mechanism is so powerful, how do we actually stop it from, hijacking us in a simple everyday interaction? Let's take that classic scenario. You're meeting someone new.
Low stakes.
Right. And this is where the idea of preloaded scripts or ready-made answers comes in.
Right.
The issue usually isn't that you don't know the words for where are you from.
Yeah.
The issue is that tiny window, maybe less than half a second, where the brain just goes, uh-oh, and hits panic instead of constructing the sentence.
Oh, I can picture that perfectly. The hesitation, I am from, and then just awkward silence.
Yeah.
Because the brain's trying too hard to be perfect.
Exactly, trying to build it perfectly from scratch under pressure. So the solution is preparation. Simple, but effective.
Yeah.
You need to create really simple, straightforward answers, things you've practiced, so they become almost automatic. They bypass that part of the brain that gets stuck in construction mode. You're not creating, you're just deploying. Okay, hang on though. Doesn't relying on simple scripts risk sounding a bit robotic? Or, like you just memorize lines?
That's a really good question. And the goal isn't actually to sound like a flawless robot. It's about flow. It's about breaking the ice smoothly. If you can deploy a simple, clear phrase right away, you shrink that window where fear can jump in. And importantly, you signal to the other person, I'm here, I'm engaged. Simplicity, in this case, actually enables the connection to start.
Ah, okay. So we're basically training the mind to default to the easiest, lowest stress response first, to get the ball rolling. Give us some concrete examples. What should these preloaded phrases actually look like?
Super simple, crystal clear. Practice them out loud until they feel totally natural, like muscle memory. So instead of scrambling when someone asks a question, you have these ready. I'm from your country, and you. Simple, direct.
Right.
Or maybe even a little better, because it keeps the conversation moving. I'm from your country, it's nice to meet you. How did you hear about this event? Or something similar.
I like that. You're not just answering, you're immediately volleying back. You keep the rhythm going. That
Yeah.
feels like a big shift.
Precisely. It cuts down that thinking time where the fear usually creeps in. You get past the awkward start, keep things moving, and you didn't need perfect grammar to do it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense for lower stakes stuff. Simple preparation works.
Yeah.
But the real challenge, I guess, is when the pressure ramps up significantly. Let's shift gears to those high stakes moments where maybe failure feels like it has real consequences, like a job interview.
Yes, this is absolutely critical because the anxiety here can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Imagine the interviewer asks that open-ended classic, "So can you tell me about yourself?" If the applicant gets stuck in that internal loop, checking grammar, searching for the perfect word, they panic. And the response comes out broken, hesitant.
Right.
Yes, well, my name is, I studied.
And that panic just screams lack of confidence, right?
Yeah.
The opportunity can just slip away in that moment. So what's the structural defense we can build here? How do we prevent that total cognitive shutdown?
If we zoom out a bit, the key concept here is structure, or maybe compartmentalization. Panic loves a vacuum. It thrives when you feel like you have to produce this long-flowing, perfect narrative on the spot. The trick is to prepare short, reusable blocks, sentence blocks, like building blocks for your answer.
Okay. So not trying to script the whole monologue, but preparing these linguistic Legos you can snap together as needed. That sounds much less daunting.
Exactly. It reduces the mental load dramatically during the actual interview. The sources strongly suggest preparing maybe 2 or 3 short, factual sentences about your background. Keep them simple, declarative, stick to the core facts. Don't worry about fancy sentence structure yet.
Okay, give us an example. How would that sound using those blocks?
Instead of trying to weave a complex story, you have these ready. Block 1, my name is Anna. Block 2, I studied business administration at the City University. Block 3, I have 2 years of direct office experience, see. Each one is a solid, complete unit, easy to deliver.
Yeah, that's very direct, factual. Harder to stumble over grammatically. What about describing skills, though? Like soft skills? That often feels trickier.
Same principle. Prepare simple, descriptive phrases, key adjectives or short capability statements, things that are easy to recall and deploy. They signal competence without requiring complex sentence construction under pressure. Practice saying things like, I am hardworking, I'm highly organized, I am efficient in teamwork settings, or I'm good at teamwork. These are flexible blocks you can insert when they ask about strengths or how you work.
That framework approach feels really powerful. It's about managing the cognitive load by breaking it down. It's interesting thinking of the silence itself as the habit to break, not just, a symptom of not knowing enough words. Okay, now let's broaden out. Beyond specific scenarios, what about daily techniques? Strategies to manage the fear cycle itself, day in, day out. How do we build up that internal resilience to panic?
Right, this is about the long game. Continuous psychological conditioning. These 4 strategies help move confidence from just an idea to something you actually feel, an ingrained response.
Okay, layout number 1 for us. The foundation.
It comes back to that mindset shift we talked about. But it has to be active practice, not just agreeing with the idea. It means every single time you notice yourself making a mistake when speaking, you consciously relabel it. Internally, you say, okay, that's feedback, or proof I'm learning, not, oh no, I failed. You have to really practice accepting imperfection.
Got it. Active reframing. Now, what about physically stopping that panic rush when it starts, that adrenaline spike that just freezes your brain?
Strategy 2, a breathing technique. This is purely physical. It's designed to interrupt that primal fear response from the amygdala. When you feel that tension rising, throat tightening, heart pounding, you stop, just for a second or 2. Consciously drop your shoulders. Take one slow, deliberate breath out. Maybe even make it slightly audible, like a sigh. Then start your sentence. Ideally with the simplest word possible, like well, or okay, That tiny pause can reset your physical state and give you back control.
That physical interruption sounds key, breaking the anxiety snowball before it gets too big. Okay, what about building the actual fluency? Making the words themselves less of a conscious effort.
That brings us to strategy 3, shadowing practice. This isn't passive listening, it's active imitation. You find recordings of natural conversations, maybe podcasts, interviews, dialogues, and you repeat them out loud. Crucially, the first focus isn't even perfect meaning or grammar. It's mimicking the rhythm, the intonation, the flow of the speaker, the musicality of the language. You do this daily. It builds that auditory motor connection, like muscle memory for speaking, so the words start to flow more naturally later.
Interesting. So sound and rhythm first, analysis second, and the final piece, the practice environment.
Number 4, Role play. You need regular, low-pressure rehearsal. Practice having these conversations. You can do this with a patient friend, maybe use one of those AI language partner tools, or even just record yourself speaking on your phone and listen back. And critically, during these role plays, the sources recommend practicing using those little conversational connectors or filler words.
Filler words like and ah. Are we trying to avoid those?
Well, yes and no. I mean, things like, well, so... Actually, think about it. Native speakers use these all the time when they pause to think. They're crucial for flow. For a learner, mastering these gives you those precious few seconds to organize your next thought without resorting to just dead, panicked silence. They keep the conversation's pulse going. They bridge the gaps.
Ah, I see. So they're actually functional tools, not just verbal clutter. They prevent the freeze. And underpinning all of this, I suppose, is that element of positive self-talk. Simple affirmations.
Exactly. Guided repetition helps. Repeating phrases like, I can speak clearly, or mistakes help me improve, or I am confident. It sounds simple, maybe even a bit cheesy to some, but it does help to internalize the belief that you are capable. Confidence is built layer by layer. By using these strategies together, preparing simple responses, using structure in tough moments, managing your breathing, practicing flow, you're systematically dismantling that fear response.
So wrapping this all up, what does this really mean for you listening right now? I think it means we need to fundamentally recalibrate what success looks like when speaking English. It's definitely not about achieving instant perfection or sounding exactly like a native speaker from day one.
It really isn't. It's about connection. It's about clarity and that confidence. It comes from that intentional practice, that structured preparation, and crucially, giving yourself permission to be imperfect along the way. Your goal should be effective communication, not grammatical flawlessness. Connection over correction.
So remember this, that fear you feel, it's natural, but it doesn't have to control you. Don't be afraid to make those mistakes, because honestly, those mistakes are just tangible proof that you're learning, that you're stretching, that you're actively doing the work to become fluent. So maybe the final thought is this: go out there and risk making a mistake today.